Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Dubai Works Business Podcast. This week is Dubai Blockchain Summit and it's all things Icetech. So we've two very special guests. Our main guest is Matthias Mende. He's an award-winning innovator, speaker, advisor, investor, and consultant with Memmos, the company that he founded in Dubai in 2011. I'm going to list some of the amazing companies that Matthias is involved in, so just bear with me a second and then we'll discuss them. Some of the roles he's currently holding include advisor and co-founder of Icetech, a fascinating looking company whose mission is to solve humanities' global water challenge. Also, he's co-founder of Unit Global. They are re-engineering the economy by decentralization so that every human can participate. And he's co-founder of Linkbar, a URL shortening site at digitalwalletrecovery.com. So for anyone who knows things about cryptocurrencies, they'll know that this is important. And Block Gemini, where he used to be the chief strategic officer. And we'll actually speak to the CEO. We'll connect in the CEO of Block Gemini, Chris Fernandez, as well during this interview. So welcome, Matthias.
Welcome.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me here.
It's great to speak to you. So, wow, entrepreneur, speaker, investor, many accomplishments. Where should we start?
Well, this is something you'll decide, but I mean, we are here based in Dubai, so I would say let's start
with the journey in Dubai. What brought you here in the first place?
Well, in the first place, I was actually not in the digital field so much. I was in the digital field from like 16 years on when I started with eBay and I had the e-commerce store. Now I'm 36, so it's a while ago. And to Dubai brought me actually the car industry. I was in the car tuning industry and car customizing, body kits, paints, and I saw the cars here in this country. My uncle here the video, and then I thought, nice cars, but all the Ferraris are red. And then I thought, okay, let's go check out Dubai.
Interesting.
I went, and then this business started for almost 2010.
2010. So you're here nearly a decade.
Yeah, I'm here since 2007.
Oh wow, okay. And you're originally from Germany?
German Polish, yeah.
Okay, interesting. Which part of Germany?
Near Frankfurt.
Okay.
On this site. It's called actually Wittlich. It's a small village.
Okay. I used to live in Münster, aber ich habe seit 15 Jahren kein Deutsch gesprochen.
Aber es ist noch sehr gut. Sehr gut.
Danke, ein bisschen. Okay, so amazing. So you were here for a long time, and what got you into these many innovations and many companies, and what was the first one?
Well, the first company here officially it's called Memmos.
Yeah.
So this is a company I did because I started working with social media. I saw that the social media industry will become very big and it's very important. And back in the day, people didn't took Instagram so serious.
Yeah, true.
But when I saw how much money some companies been charging, I thought this is complete joke and this is something we can do also.
Yeah.
So we started improving a lot of food and beverage companies here. I used to work with some of the biggest venues, like from Bulldozer Group to the Mind Group, like so many venues.
Okay, so you also did social media services,
Yes, I've been actually growing accounts back in the day, and I was using bots for that also sometimes, but intelligent bots which we customize. But now this stuff doesn't work anymore because it's against the guidelines.
Okay.
It was also before, but before there was no algorithms to catch us.
Yeah.
But now you have to change IPs too much, so it would have emulated. Like for example, me as Bagatelle, I would like now all the customers, the followers of the other restaurants. So they would get likes every day, non-stop, to the maximum limit what Instagram allows. So 95%, because then we also get stopped. And these people, they see the interaction and then they would come back.
Yeah.
And simply generate leads.
Okay, so did you actually work on the technology for that as well and provide that as a SaaS product to the companies?
There was a provider for that. I was just improving the project. So I gave them more ideas, more filtrations, because some people, they would
upload. It needs a strategy behind it.
It needs, because if you target by hashtags, but some random people upload funny pictures and they write like, Dubai Life or Lamborghini or something, but then it's a complete different picture, then it's a problem.
Yeah.
But what we did is we would start liking some pictures if they have minimum 30 likes, because bad pictures, nobody likes them. So there was some filtering strategies.
Interesting.
And this was running really good, this stuff. But since 2016, I left this.
Okay. And
field.
what happened then?
Well, I got into the blockchain space a lot.
Yeah.
I made my first experiences in this field. I've been hearing about it since a while, but it completely didn't make sense at this time for me. But then when I start understanding the power and the beauty of blockchain, I got very, very interested in this space. And just the one factor that the blockchain, it enables the trust. So it actually, companies and all kind of relations, the systems, they will be trustable because they will be verified by different nodes or whatever it's running in the system. Even it can be decentralized, but can be also centralized.
Okay.
And internal company systems.
Okay, it can be centralized. So Dubai has invested a lot in blockchain. And as we mentioned, the Future Blockchain Summit is happening at the moment. How do you explain to people what blockchain is? Do you talk about cryptocurrencies? Do you talk about ledgers, or what do you say to people? Is it like the internet, or is it something specific? Do you talk about industries?
I would say blockchain itself, to make it very simple for the layman, there are too many technologies, blockchain technologies, but the most people, they know blockchain from Bitcoin, because Bitcoin runs on the blockchain, which was created by like Satoshi Nakamoto in 2009, and it's a decentralized way of sending money.
And for those who are listening and not watching, there was inverted commas around this person's name because we don't know who he is. But this is the story of how it was created, and that's obviously in currencies related. But blockchain can impact many other industries.
Of course, absolutely. Okay.
Before we join the other guests, can you just talk about some of the companies that I mentioned in the intro, and what your involvement is in them, and how are they doing, and are they based in Dubai?
Yeah. So 2 of those companies are based in Dubai.
Yeah.
Like one of them is Icetech.
Yeah.
We registered also here in the DMCC in the GLT area.
Yeah.
And Icetech, basically, it's about it's the largest water project in human history, like largest fresh water supply project.
Yeah.
And what's happened is that the idea is to create water by freezing it into ice blocks and then pulling it with the ship to the water stressed regions, which are like in the Middle East and Asia, because in Europe there's a lot of water and we do it in a very smart way, but this is a long project. We also created another entity in Singapore where we will in the future probably, like not in the future, of course in the future, but probably in 3 to 6 months, where we will launch the security token offering.
Okay.
This is something where people basically, it's more regulated because this way it's more legal, it's more open, and people have like the security, it's a guarantee.
Is that like an ICO, or is it different?
It's an advanced ICO.
Okay.
Like it's like regulated ICO, you could say, basically.
Could that not be regulated here or in Abu Dhabi Global Market?
It can be now. Recently, the new rules changed and everything, but we choose Singapore for this part because you see in Dubai we'll have the IPs and the intellectual property and all those things, but the financial part we will do from Singapore
for this company. Interesting. But potentially that is something that, with the right investment, can actually bring water to this region. That's the project that you're working on.
Absolutely, and not a small scale water. We're talking from one ice block, the smallest, where we have all the simulations run on MATLAB, which is like a real-time metrics software, where they do the crash tests and where they measure the weather with the temperature, with everything like in real time. We have this done. And the smallest iceberg, the small one, which we have the simulation for, is 8 million metric tons, which means 8 billion liter of water. And
Wow.
8 billion liter of water is good to give water to 10 million people for over 1 year if they drink like 1.9 liters per day.
Wow, that's good numbers. Interesting. So a lot of water.
Yeah,
A lot
let's
of water.
hope we can
So you,
upgrade and change. And
but it would be
value
taken from somewhere else. What role does blockchain play in that?
The blockchain part plays actually in the security token offering. So actually this project doesn't need blockchain.
So it's the fundraising element.
Exactly, for the fundraising. So for example, let's say $10 million comes in, yeah, and now there is 30
other people will own part of that company.
Exactly, it's like holding a share, but this share will pay dividends to the holders, because this is a project where we need like thousands of investors, small investors, not big investors, because this way everybody wins.
Okay,
interesting. And another big part is to donate a lot of those, of course, because to fix the problems.
Okay, interesting.
Water is life.
Yeah, that should be the tagline for this company. So another company you mentioned that you're working on here, the second one in Dubai?
The second one is Memmos, my company. Then we have Linkbar, and then we have Linkbar is like a kind of clone of Linktree.
Yeah.
But actually Linkbar will fork into a mini menu for the future, because I'm planning to make small websites for companies where they, and for influencers, where they can put directly all the links inside, but not just links, also calendar, events, mini shops, and we're trying to put a kind of blockchain payment system, but it's still a bit challenging. The software is live, it can be free used, but still it's a little bit to work. I'm looking for more co-founders if somebody is more interested. You see, I'm doing a lot of things, and to manage everything is not easy, so I'm happy always to advise.
To find the right partners. Great. So we do want to talk about blockchain trends in a lot more detail while you're here, but we'll cross over to Chris.
Yes, please.
To speak about. Okay, let's see this. Okay, we're going to viewers. We're going to test now something. So we're going to speak to Christopher Hernandez. Can you just tee it up and say what Block Gemini is while we move to Chris?
Of course. Block Gemini is like an award-winning software house in Dubai based, but also has their location in Luxembourg and in India, and has lots of developers, and Chris is the genius behind the company.
Amazing, the CEO, okay.
And he actually builds those amazing systems and plans them, and sometimes this guy works really 2 hours, 2 days non-stop.
Okay, amazing.
Like he just keeps going, and to watch him and see this is very interesting.
Okay, great. And they've been in the news recently, which is why we'll talk to Chris.
Exactly.
Okay, great. Okay.
Huge accomplishment.
Huge accomplishment. Good afternoon, Chris. Can you hear us okay?
Hear you perfectly. Can you hear me?
Headphones, guys. Okay. Hello, Chris.
Yep. Can you guys hear me okay?
Just waiting to connect. I can't hear him.
Hello? Yeah, can you guys hear me now?
Okay.
Wrong.
So, hi, Chris. Sorry about that.
How's it going?
Very good.
No worries.
Thanks for joining the interview.
Yep.
Great. So, where are you based at the moment?
Dubai Studio City specifically is where I sit as we speak.
Okay, amazing. So we're here with Matthias, and we're talking all things blockchain. And recently, Block Gemini has a partnership with Vodafone. Can you explain a little bit about that and give us some more context?
Yeah, sure. This project is one we've been working on for almost 2 years now. It's evolved from a proof of concept to an MVP, and is soon to be launched as a pilot across several local markets and suppliers for Vodafone.
Okay, and what does it actually do for the suppliers?
So the problem put forward was that the process of managing procurement contracts was resource intensive and had a high potential for human error. So Vodafone deals with over 500,000 items offered by thousands of suppliers across multiple local markets. This translates to about 50,000 contracts that need to be managed annually. And with their current resources, they could only manage about 1,000 of those. So, what this resulted in was low visibility on their contracts. And this led to things like partner disputes, tedious and costly sessions for cross-verifying transactions, millions in value leakage annually. So they need a solution that could help them scale their current operations, basically.
Okay, amazing. In the blockchain space, because of its nature, and there's often associated with solutions to manage contracts and the security around that. Is that the area that Block Gemini specializes in?
Yeah, I mean, since we were dealing with sensitive information, the solution had to ensure that the data could not be manipulated by any one party. Blockchain was like the obvious choice, since a traditional database approach would not achieve this level of trust that would, be required to successfully implement the solution.
Okay.
And we were able, with blockchain, to basically establish network governance rules and play around with cool things like smart contracts. And it was definitely it's one of the most innovative projects I've ever come across in the blockchain space.
Do you work on proprietary technology that you custom towards projects, or do you come up with the technology for the project? The solution is specific.
So both, kind of. So we have our own internal products, our blockchain platform as a service. We have also a commercial contract management tool that we built in-house. And then we also get into bespoke custom solution designs for major enterprises and sort of tailor-make their end-to-end solution or product of their own. A lot of the enterprises we're working with are now tech players or have been tech players, and they're also looking to come out with their own products. So we assist them through that journey as well.
Interesting. And was Block Gemini founded in Dubai, or is this an office that's set up here?
Yeah, interestingly enough, Block Gemini was founded in this Dubai Studio City Park. If it wasn't for like sort of the Dubai government's blockchain initiatives or a lot of the Smart Dubai, related workshops that went on and POCs and MVPs that took place in the UAE, we wouldn't have been enabled the way Dubai did. And then also, it's hard building a team. I'm from Canada. Okay. So, building a team from all over the world and just sort of getting them all in the same room. Dubai as a business hub enabled seamless visa entry for technology experts for us to, basically work on these projects and win these deals overseas. It's amazing how from out here in Dubai we're able to get in there and beat the top dogs to take these big projects down.
That's a great perspective. We've seen in the news lately that some other companies like Ripple are looking at Dubai as a headquarters. Is that why you think it is? Because it's related to a government strategy and investment in blockchain?
I think the easiest one is just, if you're pulling top blockchain talent, which is scattered everywhere across the world. So if you're bringing somebody from Kazakhstan, you're bringing somebody from Ukraine or Bulgaria or, UK, so many different places. Dubai's system is built in such a way where you can just get all these experts in the same room during COVID. And still innovate. You're trying to be Einstein here, playing around with this technology. Dubai enables the team. That's sort of how we've grown out of here into hubs now. But Dubai enabled that initially during the 2017 early days, where we were able to assemble our team here for sure.
And is that the view of Dubai globally in terms of blockchain, that it's a kind of a city that's embraced it? And should we expect more and more companies to be based out of here?
Yeah, I think that shift has already started. You could look at the recent regulation from the central bank, the Securities and Commodity Authority. You could look at and see that this has now become a framework for this sort of innovation to be sandboxed or productized. So, Dubai is definitely steps ahead of, I hate to say it, where I'm from in Toronto, Canada. But it is a smart city. There is a great infrastructure here. I go downstairs in my building, I open up speed test, and I've got 5G getting 900 megabits a second on my mobile. I'm very comfortable here. It is a state-of-the-art economy for me.
That's amazing. The talent, is that remote talent, or is some based here, some based remotely? Do you have the developers based in Dubai? And secondly, just to give us a bit more information, you kind of alluded to that blockchain developers are in high demand. How difficult is it? Is it like, how difficult is it to be a blockchain developer, and do you have to focus on that, or are you working on other areas of expertise as well?
So one, we just due to the nature of our projects, we've got a huge list of blockchain experts that always want to work with our organization. So there's always that, the enterprise grade projects, and there's very few of the sort of deployments that I was showing you here. But so from a talent perspective, we've invested heavily in our recruitment and training programs where we take in full stack engineers, we put them through courses internally, we pay for their courses, etc. So these sorts of molding and thought process is sort of just baked in the company. And it's literally we're pumping out a breed of development or use case knowledge that you can't really find it in school, to be honest with you. These are things that are evolving as we speak, and we're part of that evolution, to be honest. And we're just learning as we go. But we had some ridiculous 1% to 2% savings on procurement spend. We had 90% increase in some of the back office efficiencies. With some of the work that we've done, we've had just a lot of like clear wins where this technology works for us, and we just want to continuously focus on this particular science.
Your camera, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, before we go back to Matthias, just a little bit more about the roadmap for Block Gemini. How can people follow? Is it something that people can invest in? And what are the other sort of things that you're working on?
We've got a lot of stuff going on in the supply chain space, the pharma space. We've got some projects where we're working with computers as small as a grain of salt. We've got some projects where they're IoT-based blockchain projects. We've got some digital identity stuff that we're doing. We're building protocols and working with governments. There's some public contracts that we're about to bid on. So yeah, we're out there. We're looking for RFPs and bidding on the ones we like, and hopefully taking down a few of them before Q4 ends. So that's we're in the grind mode right now. Let's put it that way.
Great. And all in all, the pandemic has been something that you've been able to adapt to and kind of look to the future. So your business is relatively healthy during this year.
So we were already on a pretty high growth trajectory path. This company is like 1,200 days old. So it's hard to say though we've grown during the pandemic, it's hard to sort of tie it to the pandemic because that was already happening year on year, very great growth numbers in this industry at the moment. So that was like the only thing that, we don't know. We don't know, but we are on, we're on a strict growth trajectory upwards right now.
Amazing. Well, thank you for joining us during the Blockchain Summit week, and congratulations on the partnership with Vodafone. It would be great to speak to you again as the Block Gemini story continues, and it's great to see success in this space out of Dubai.
Thank you very much for having me. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Have a good day, Matthias.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Okay, so that was Chris Hernandez, the CEO of Block Gemini. That was interesting. You probably didn't hear all of that, but you're familiar with the company very well.
Some, yeah, of course.
Yeah, so very
it's
interesting
magical stuff, right?
Yeah. But it gave us an insight into, it's a whole other ecosystem. There's RFPs, you're pitching for projects, there's government investments, there's blue chip companies investments, there's entrepreneurs. Like it's basically a growing ecosystem.
Yes, that's full enterprise level how Block Gemini operates.
Yeah, amazing.
So this is like the real, absolutely finalized professional way of implementing blockchain.
Yeah.
Because all these projects which you see on the market, a lot of those DeFi things, and all those new things, they are not made in offices.
Yeah.
They are ideas. They are in the market. They are coins and tokens which
they're
cost
already launched.
hundreds of millions of dollars, which move in weekly basis, but these things are built in living rooms or in like some people in different places in the world, they just work on their computers and
like
they
the dark web.
Not like this directly, but
Okay.
but there are real projects. There are a lot of funny projects, but this is decentralized finance.
So what Chris was talking about is actual, they speak a lot in this space of having use cases, things that are practical, and the savings of procurement. A lot of people will understand. A lot of people will understand the telco industry. What's the kind of difference to get there from a kind of a white paper to an ICO to actual use cases, and do you have to win contracts, or do you have to kind of have consumer adoption of your idea?
Well, there is no, like in the enterprise space, there is no ICOs. It's just tenders, sometimes government tenders, company tenders. So some companies, multiple companies participate, and then
so they're specialized in the enterprise space.
Yes, fully enterprise, because at the end of the day, in the long term, blockchain will be fully applied all over the world. It's just a question of time. We are lucky to be in Dubai, where the government is very, like, they have a great vision. Sheikh Mohammed and Sheikh Hamdan, as highnesses, they announced the blockchain strategy already a few years back, and they also announced how much savings in time, savings in papers, savings in working out, how much more efficient things will become, and they're working in different fields on a vision to make it reality. So this is a huge space, and I'm very sure a lot of governments will follow. But Dubai and UAE is not like the first government who did this. Like in Estonia, they were actually the first ones, like many years back. They had universities building those projects. And also some people of those universities, we also like work and operate with them.
It's interesting. I was actually in Estonia 2 months ago, and it's the largest startups per capita in the world. Amazing little country. Fascinating. Well, one of the questions that kind of popped up while I was listening to Chris and you earlier, Matthias, is robots and replacing jobs. And, when we talk about procurement, we think of people. Is that a factor? Is that something that blockchain can disrupt employment or enable more?
Well, let's say like this: it might disrupt many jobs where humans were needed, but it also creates some new jobs. For example, you can take any field where robotics will come in, like drone deliveries. So it's not really a blockchain factor needed, but if those drones, they will run on a blockchain, then it's more verified that everything runs correctly, that they arrive correctly, because there's always a proof that the drone arrived or it flew away. There's a proof of history, the consensus for the transaction. So every flight could be a token. So the accounting doesn't need to be done by humans anymore. For example. But also the delivery will be less. So there's no car maybe needs to go out, or less cars, which also saves CO2. So there is also always advantages. But for sure in the industry of
token powered drones and for delivery.
And there's also in the industrial, like in the industries where parts get created. The industrial revolution already happened, but now I think it's another finance revolution happening. Which we are witnessing.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about cryptocurrencies as well. But just kind of finishing on blockchain part of it.
Of course.
When we see diagrams of blockchain, it reminds me a lot of diagrams of the internet, of how things are connected. And in the end, we don't really understand what powers our phones and things like that. We just kind of get on with using it. Is that an analogy of, the things that people are going to see are the things that are built on top of blockchain, whether it's devices like you mentioned or whether it's cryptocurrencies? Would that be fair?
You mean devices built on blockchain?
Yeah, exactly. Like, isn't so? For example, on top of the World Wide Web, there was Web 2.0. There was social networks. Then there's other things that were on top of that, and then there's an app ecosystem. So people almost forget about those kind of dial-up, those diagrams of how things are interconnected. Other than the developers, of course. But is that from a consumer point of view, are we going to be more familiar with using things without really understanding how are they centralized, decentralized, how the ledgers are working.
Okay. So this is always based and depends on which blockchain it's used for this application. So the web, it just runs on the web with like servers and stuff. So in the internet, there's a lot of information shared and false information.
True.
So now imagine if some turbo blockchains come in, which are also there now. For example, you have, Bitcoin, Ethereum, they are the very famous one. But how long is a transaction time in Bitcoin? It can take 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half hour, 10 hours if you to send money. This is not feasible, Ethereum, same thing. It's not feasible. So it takes even 5 minutes, 2 minutes, and the fees are very high. You cannot have $2 fee or $10 fee for a transaction. But now with some turbo blockchains, with the newest generation, which is just out, let's say, since 3 to 6 months. Like, let's say we have Solana and Polkadot, and Solana is built by a Qualcomm scientist who's a genius. He has people from CERN, from Intel, like top minds, and they just fixed one problem: the scalability and the speed, and the cost. So now, for example, it's like this. Imagine Bitcoin is like a snail. Bitcoin is like a 4-door, like a car, like an Audi S5.
Okay.
Ethereum, yeah. Okay. And now let's take Solana. It's not a car, not an animal. It's straight teleportation, instant.
Okay.
You press.
What about Ethereum 2.0?
Ethereum 2.0, I believe it will be also very fast.
Yeah.
But it depends who will actually use it and how quick it will be usable. Because Ethereum Foundation, there's lots of chaos,
Yeah. So what you're telling us now, obviously, Bitcoin has gone through a recent sort of surge again in value. Is that, does that mean that it's going to be too slow eventually?
No.
Because it can be valued as something else. Like
Bitcoin, it's a decentralized currency, so it's just a store of value. I think Bitcoin is not an everyday technology for companies to use.
It's like a commodity. It's
like
gold.
A commodity, like holding money. Just instead of buying gold or some other valuable investments, you can put the money in Bitcoin and hold it.
And what about Bitcoin Cash?
Bitcoin Cash is a fork of Bitcoin. So Roger Ver is the inventor of Bitcoin Cash, and he basically fixed some of the speed issues by forking the protocol, because Bitcoin is open source software. So you can basically take the code and copy it.
So people who are investing in Bitcoin aren't doing it as a use case, as a digital currency. They're doing it to store value, and then usually interesting. And then the ones that people might use as use cases for tokens might be different types of altcoins.
Of course, exactly.
Okay.
There are many stores of value, but some they are faster, some less. For example, you have also USD Tether, which is a stable coin pegged to the US dollar. So for example, what I do, a little trick, when Bitcoin or anything goes down and I see that it goes down 2-3%, I instantly change everything to USD Tether. Many people, they will not like it because it's not so Bitcoin pro, but when it goes down by 10%, I can buy again 10% less. So I actually make more money. Yeah.
So when you're trading?
When I trade, yes.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
But that's not what everybody does. And what I've meant also before with this fast blockchain is that in the future, because you asked me the question, how people will feel about these applications. In the future, blockchain, normal layman people like everybody, they will not even know that there's a blockchain involved, because it will be a standard feature.
Yeah.
It's not, also people who drive a car, they don't need to know if it's like a 6-cylinder, 8-cylinder. The car drives.
Yeah.
It takes the same oil, the same petrol, because the car is the end product, not the engine, unless it's some supercar or something special. So in the future, all those applications, like also Facebook, I believe, and others, they will have these blockchains on top, and they will verify information much more and validate them if they are more real or more false.
Okay.
Which I believe it will be very good in a lot of cases, and it will give also more control to the application and more protection for the users, because many rules will be applied which cannot be easy override.
That's interesting. So it could solve some of their fake news problems, and they actually outsource that to humans at the moment to kind of yes and no and to verify information. So why are they investing more in that type of rather than Facebook's muted Libra digital currency? Why choose currency rather than using blockchain to verify their problem, basically?
Well, okay, this is a very big subject which you just started, but to explain it first of all, I mean, the fake news are a huge problem.
Yeah.
There's a massive problem because so many people, they are so brainwashed from social media that they just believe what they see and they can't verify. And a lot of people just share because also they don't have the chance to verify because maybe the original news is in English or in some source online which nobody can verify, right?
Yeah, and it might also be only part of the story which is false without the full context.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's a huge problem. And I know when they do it with humans, they are not like AIs. Like they can verify it much better if they do a good job, if they take the sources. So for critical news, it's a human process now. Maybe in the blockchains, once it's integrated, these humans could be all kind of users, normal users, and they could do the validations and build up a ranking based off points of how many things they validate and how accurate the information are, confirmed by the other people in the network, that they confirm, okay, Richard, your information was good, I give you +1.
Okay, so like the blockchain works, this kind of it needs network approval, and no one can have the overriding say. No individual controls it.
No individual. It's all based on community.
Yeah.
Like in Wikipedia, if somebody wants to edit or edit something, maybe after 2 days, 3 days, somebody else will change it or take it off if there's false information.
Brilliant. So that's a good analysis for people. So going back to the kind of...
Sorry, one thing more. We talked about Libra. So Libra, why it's needed or what's the special on it? It's actually the payments. I mean, WhatsApp, they've been sleeping for years. You see WeChat, right? In China,
WeChat,
you must have WeChat. Not just maybe to communicate with people, but mainly to send money. You know, WeChat is built by, what was the name of the company? The Chinese.
Is it Tencent? Or
Tencent, yes, Tencent. So it's like semi-government or government, so they control it, right?
Yeah.
So even WeChat, it stores everything inside, like personal information.
It's a super app.
Picture, biometric features. It's a super app. Without WeChat, you can't pay in some places in China. You are lost. When I was in China in 2018, I was like really surprised. And the payment is a standard thing, and WhatsApp is missing out this whole method because I can send you a message, I can send you pictures, I can send you videos, I can send you contacts, but I can't send you money. Why?
Yeah.
You know, back in the day,
they've just done something with Indian government allowing payments with WhatsApp as a test.
Yeah, as a test.
But interesting, and Libra would be another part of that.
Yes,
interesting.
It will be very interesting. Now it's permitted, and it's also good for the world, actually, I believe.
Okay.
But you know, it's also very strong WhatsApp. It has like how much? 2 billion users, 1.5 billion users. So it's huge, you know.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, so you think Facebook are kind of well positioned for that, for the emergence of sort of payments and crypto?
Yes, but for sure, I believe, and I hardly suggest, I think that everybody who wants to use this payment service should be somehow KYC'd or verified by the system.
Yeah.
Even people who post news, even if it's true, they should directly be flagged to do some KYC.
Yeah.
Because I think with this solution, more people, it will not come as much bad information.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of KYC providers, and it's amazing, the KYCs, the modern KYCs, how they work.
Yeah.
You open the app, the video comes, you ask some questions, some details, and you are verified.
Yeah. It's facial recognition as well, and voice and things like that.
Right.
Yeah, amazing. So many innovations, and of course we've seen, you know, the global pandemic been a very difficult year for everyone, but there has been the digital acceleration as well. Matthias, can I ask rather selfishly about media and, you know, some of the things that people say around the token economy? You know, there's a Black Mirror episode about ads and things like that in terms of you build up tokens by consuming information and you can use that. So it's attention. And we see companies like Basic Attention Token that have their own browser. There's Dogecoin. There's different types of token-based companies around content.
Mm-hmm.
Are they in the leading edge across the kind of crypto space? Or we hear about finance, we hear about digital coins, currencies, we hear about contracts a lot. But where does the kind of evolution is kind of content and media going to be first or last, or what do you think?
I think content and media is probably not going the first, but surely also not the last.
Okay.
And for example, this concept with the media and the ads, like you said, in the Basic Attention Token, and I think Brave is the browser.
The browser, right? Yeah.
So that's an interesting concept for those who don't know about it. So imagine now you use your Google Chrome and the AdWords are coming, but you see them, you probably just see them and remember them, and eventually after some time you buy it, whatever settings you have and whatever information they keep repeated putting on you. But in the Brave browser, what's happening is that, for example, the ads come and some of the ad revenue is shared to you because you see it. So regardless if you buy or not buy, you get some tokens paid out, which is a nice concept. But you see, those companies, they need to be known by more people. Okay. They need to be more large scaled, They need huge marketing, PR, and these companies also sometimes don't always have the best blockchains. Not always. I don't know exactly what Brave is now using. I think they use BAT network, but I'm not sure. I need to verify this. But the concept itself is actually good, and I think it's nice when people surf the web and they can generate some money on the side from the ads. It's fair, and because it's based on blockchain, it's also a fair share.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure how much the share is, but I think like 30-70 or something.
Okay.
Or even if it's 10%, but it's at least people get something, which is good.
That's interesting. So I think this is episode 90 or 91 of Dubai Works. It's the first time we've spoken at length about blockchain and the crypto space. How do people learn more about it? How do they kind of, without going all in, without switching career like you have per se, or without becoming a developer, right, without becoming an investor, what's the best way to kind of know a bit more?
It's easy. So since we are in this beautiful country, UAE, and in Dubai, there's a very beautiful advantage for all the people and citizens here. There's the Dubai Blockchain Center, which actually is a part of the Dubai Future Foundation, which is next to, like, in the Emirates Towers. And from time to time, even online now in the pandemic, they host training sessions and they host like educational sessions. Okay. There's this 3D building. And they host sessions and people can learn about the newest things and they will explain it, because the Dubai Blockchain Center is like a semi-governmental information. And the CEO of it is Dr. Marwan Al-Zaruni, and this man is a very important man because he is one of the reasons why actually in UAE and in Dubai blockchain became probably more trusted from the beginning when there were too many negative news, because what's happening is all the important people from the world who come in the country, also he meets them, we meet them, and these people also, they give sessions and educate also the government, like for example the Estonian government, they are also here like every few months. Really? So there is so many talks happening and it's so interesting. It's like a new world. So if people want to really get educated, they should go on the Dubai Blockchain Center website. Okay, that's a good tip. And we'll put the URL in the show notes. Yes. For the blockchain summit at the moment, it's been going a few years and it started today, 6th to the 9th, I think, of December. So, excuse me. So, how do you recommend people going? Do you think that people can learn from these conferences? Absolutely. And there are a lot of booths and there are also different stages with different speakers, and it's done to obviously people in the industry to connect, but also for others to get more educated, to see some real projects out there, because also not everybody can participate as a company in the Dubai Future Blockchain Summit, because they also are a little bit strict, you know. So
they have to verify people.
They verify a lot of projects. So
it's great. It sounds like there's a lot more. Of course, we know there's investments, but investment is needed for industries to start. But it sounds like things are really settling down now in this industry. We're kind of 10 years into it, and it seems like interesting time. Would you say it's an interesting decade ahead?
Absolutely. I think we're living in the most interesting and greatest time ever.
Amazing.
And I absolutely
recommend positive attitude. Yeah.
Everyone. I mean, the world is like, let's say, on fire or whatever. But at the end of the day, I think everybody who is curious and cares about his life and about change, he has the chance to do some research. And this information on the internet, just find them, and they can learn about the future and eventually get in.
Okay.
I didn't study anything, you know, and I got in 2016 because it was very interesting me, the blockchain space. But there are so many spaces, and in the digital world, I believe that it will just give and improve the life of millions of people. They can benefit if they keep learning.
Very good. Good mentality, good mindset. There was an announcement about a digital currency between KSA and UAE recently. How does that work? Is that sort of something that the banks will get involved in? And how does this, what's the next phase of these announcements?
Well, the news are absolutely great. What's the finalized situation between the UAE and the KSA government? I didn't follow too much to say enough about it. But I believe if those kind of digital currencies come out, it will make payments and things much faster.
Do you think so I know I'm asking you to speculate, but do you think there'll be a case, especially for this region as an emerging market, where we also saw a recent announcement that the Lebanese government are doing something in the digital currency space? Is that something that the ones that are pegged to the dollar will eventually not be from a government central bank?
Well, that's also a very critical and hard question to answer, to be very frank.
Fair enough.
But I mean, things which are pegged to the dollar, I personally, I believe it's a little bit risky, because also, in my opinion, I hope I can say that, I don't think the dollar is the most stable currency. Even it is, because it's everywhere standardized, but I feel this currency is due to get inflated sometime. I'm not sure how long they can artificially keep it up, you know?
Yeah.
So if they
especially with all the recent they
just printed 25% of the whole supply of dollar since the dollar exists, I think from more than 120 years ago or something. They just printed it in the pandemic. So this not logical. It's like, no, wait, you know? So the coins are actually, the cryptocurrencies, they are much more honest, like the stable coins, because they have to be regulated by the government, that they actually keep this money in the bank, or this value like gold or whatever it is. So I believe that, I hope that if this currency comes out here for the region, that I hope it's going to be not pegged to the dollar.
Great.
Additionally, I hope, but I'm not sure exactly how it's going to be. Maybe there will be multiple ones.
Yeah. So lots of things to happen, of course.
Lots of things to happen.
And I'm going to leave it there. It's been really interesting. Thank you so much for your time, and let's chat again in the future.
Yeah, for sure. It was my big pleasure.
Perfect. And thanks for having Chris on as well.
Of course. I'm very happy about that. And
great.
Thank you, Richard.
Thanks, Matthias. Thanks very much.
Thank you guys for watching.